Welcome back for another book talk. It's Wednesday for Writer Wednesday. Today I'm going to do a bonus book talk, but it really is for writers because today I'm talking about the Emotion Thesaurus, a writer's guide to character expression, second edition by Angela Ackerman and Becca Puglisi. And I apologize, you may hear some page turning noises as I'm talking about the book. I have it sitting right here in front of me. This book was on my May TBR, though as I mentioned in my TBR video, I had actually already flipped through the book some. I'd read some of the entries when I bought the book, checked out some of the articles at the beginning. Really, I started reading it before the month started, but it's mostly a reference book after the first 26 pages, which gives you some articles for writers and explains how to use the book. The rest of the book is 130 entries alphabetically for different emotions, and it provides a 2-page entry for each emotion. Excuse me, let me flip to one of them so that I make sure I get it correct. For each emotion, it gives you a definition, notes, physical signals and behaviors of that emotion, internal sensations, mental responses, acute or long-term responses for the emotion, signs that the emotion is being suppressed. It also tells you what other emotions that it might escalate to or de-escalate to, and some associated power verbs. Each entry also has a writer's tip, though that writer's tip doesn't necessarily have anything to do with that emotion. They just included writer's tips throughout the book with each of the entries. So the writer's tips are very helpful. All right, let's talk first about the front matter, the articles that come with the book, and then we can talk about those emotion entries and what's at the end. All right, so at the beginning, the articles that you get are an introduction to the second edition, the power of emotion, character research, what to know to write authentic emotion, using dialogue to write emotion, subtext, what lies beneath, which is a really neat article, additional ideas for brainstorming fresh emotion, common problems with writing nonverbal emotion, and an article on how to use the Emotion Thesaurus. At the back of the book, they also include information about more books. It turns out this is really part of a series, and they have books like the Positive and Negative Trait Thesaurus, and they have a companion book for this called Emotion Amplifiers. So if you really like this book, the way it's put together, you might want to read more of these. The Urban and Rural Setting Thesaurus, the Emotional Wound Thesaurus, the Occupation Thesaurus, all kind of books that help writers think about things, not just emotions, but a lot of stuff. All right, let me flip to one of these. All right, page 80 is the Emotion Defiant. So if you were looking up a random emotion entry and you were just curious what it was like, under Defiant, they define it as boldly resisting an opposing force, even in the face of defeat. They've got a huge list with probably over 20 physical signals and behaviors, such as drawing oneself up to full height, a sharp chin thrust or lift, crossing the arms, a gaze or stare that is challenging and full of judgment, a curled lip, smirking, etc., etc. Then for internal sensations, it talks about a throbbing in the chest or throat, ribs that tighten, creating pressure in one's core, a flush of heat in the face and neck, tension in one's muscles, narrowed vision. Under mental responses, it points out thoughts being clouded by frustration and anger, reacting before thinking, thereby escalating a situation, struggling with focus and concentration, being unable or unwilling to see things from another's point of view. It goes on and on. Acute or long-term responses for this emotion: speaking in a hostile tone, making threats, refusing to set disagreements aside, blatant disobedience, allowing one's anger to escalate. Signs that this emotion is being suppressed: body tension, clenching the jaw, lips that are clamped tight, speaking in an uneven voice, quiet acts of subversion. May escalate to anger, rage, schadenfreude, fearlessness. May de-escalate to feeling unappreciated, conflicted, confusion, regret. Associated power verbs: arch, argue, bash, belittle, brandish, bristle, call, challenge, etc., etc. It's really good. It's got a lot of great stuff in the entry. And it closes out with a writer's tip. When drafting, if you are unsure of how to show an emotion, use a telling placeholder like "she shivered in fear." Then, look for the named emotion when revising, remove it, and write something fresh to show. This way you will not be pulled out of the creative flow. So there you go. I think it's a wonderful book. The book could help you, even if you're not a writer, to understand other people's emotions. All right, that's it for today's book talk. Every day is a great day for a book talk. Peace.